everyone.
Welcome to today's school.
So today we are going to discuss about the chapter
Breathing and exchange of gases.
So in this chapter there are totally 6 topics.
Okay.
The first topic is respiratory organs.
Okay.
In that human respiratory system.
Okay.
And the second topic is mechanism of breathing. Okay. What is the mechanism involved in breathing? So in that respiratory volumes and capacity. So the third topic is exchange of gases. And the fourth one is transport of gases. We are going to see about oxygen and carbon dioxide. And the fifth one is regulation of respiration. Sixth one is disorders of respiratory system. Okay, so first we will go with the first topic, which is respiratory organs. In that we will be discussing about human respiratory system. So now we are going to see the first topic, which is respiratory organs. So generally we will be seeing about respiratory organs before going into human respiratory system. Okay, so here many organisms, different organisms respire differently with the different means of mechanism. So according to their tissue level, according to their organization, according to their environment condition, the different organisms respire differently. They have different mechanisms in respiratory organs. Okay, so here we will first seeing about sponges, coelenterates and flatworms. So these respire through diffusion. Diffusion is nothing but the whole body is involved in diffusion, where O2 and CO2 diffuses through the body surface. And then earthworms, they respire through their moist cuticle. Okay. Insects through their tracheal tubules. Okay, they have a large number of tubules connected throughout the body. So some insects have large number. Some insects have book lungs, book gills and everything. So here they have tracheal tubules, connected tubules to respire. And then aquatic arthropods and the mollusks, they have gills to respire, and even some fishes have gills to respire. And mostly terrestrial forms, organisms which are in terrestrial forms have lungs as respiratory organ.
Like frogs, we saw the frogs in the last before chapter. The frogs can breathe through their skin, in water and
through their lungs in land. Okay, and mammals have well-developed respiratory system. So now we will be seeing about human respiratory system. Okay. Now we are going to see about human respiratory system. Okay. So here, this is generally the structure of human respiratory system. Okay. So it starts with larynx, which leads to trachea, through epiglottis, epiglottis, larynx and trachea. And here this trachea again divides into 2 bronchi, primary bronchi. Okay. So these trachea and bronchi, the half of the bronchi, when it divides to bronchi, primary bronchi, it has non-continuous cartilaginous rings. Okay.
Called bronchus.
No. The division is called bronchus. These rings are non-continuous rings. Okay. So they are divided into primary, secondary and tertiary bronchi, and this is known as terminal bronchiole, and with
air sacs,
alveoli. Okay. The air sacs is known as alveoli. Okay. So here larynx, okay, it is a cartilaginous box, okay, which produce sound. So therefore it is known as sound box.
To speak as we are speaking right now.
So and then generally this trachea, it divides at 5th thoracic vertebrae. Okay, this one is 5th thoracic vertebrae
in our backbone.
In our vertebrae, it is 5th thoracic vertebrae into right and left primary bronchi. Okay, so these are primary bronchi and secondary bronchi, tertiary bronchi, bronchiole and alveoli. Okay, this is generally. And the terminal bronchioles are nothing but which is connecting the alveoli with tertiary bronchi. So this part which is having alveoli is known as terminal bronchiole.
Okay.
So this one is it contains very thin irregular sacs called alveoli. Okay. So this lungs, it is of 2, and this left lung, this one is left lung, which is smaller than the right lung because there is heart present here. Okay. So this the heart needs space. So it fills a part of some space with the left lung. Okay. So there are two membranes covered. These lungs are covered by two membranes. Okay. So the outer membrane and inner membrane, which is also known as pleural membranes, outer pleural membrane and inner pleural membrane. Okay. And in between these two membranes, it is filled with pleural fluid. Okay. So there is something called pleural fluid
That only helps us to expand the lungs and
that reduces friction between the lungs and the ribs.
friction.
Yes. Okay. So it reduces friction because it is continuously expanding. So it reduces friction between the lungs and the ribs. Okay. So generally the conducting part is between the nostrils and until the terminal bronchiole. It is known as conducting part. Till that the air is conducts. Okay. Exchanging part is nothing but the alveoli. Okay. It exchanges gases. O2 and CO2 is exchanged in alveoli. So it is known as exchanging part. Okay. So next we will see more about the sequence of respiration. Okay. So can you understand this diagram?
Yeah.
Now we are going to discuss about the mechanism. Okay, mechanism of breathing. So how we are generally going to see the steps of respiration. So what all take place, generally we are going to see. We are not going in deep inside them. Okay. So in succeeding topics only we will be discussing in deep about each step. Okay. So here generally thoracic chamber is nothing but our lungs, what is comprised in inside the lungs and outside the lungs. What is thoracic chamber is consists of, we are going to see. So this thoracic chamber is dorsally by vertebral column. So it is dorsally. We have seen that diagram of lungs, right? So that is dorsally covered by vertebral column. Dorsally means backside. Okay. So ventrally by sternum. Ventral means, do you know what is ventral?
Front side.
Yes. Ventrally by small sternum. And laterally by ribs.
Backside ribs.
Laterally. Okay, laterally by ribs. And lower side by diaphragm. So this thoracic chamber, generally lungs is covered by these four sides. Okay. So vertebral column at the back, sternum at the front, ribs at the side.
Sternum, what is the sternum?
Sternum is generally a small extension. It will be like this in the front, where the ribs come and join here.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. And there are floating ribs also. So any change in the thoracic chamber will affect the volume of lung. Okay. So it is definitely necessary because we breathe in and out by the movement of these sides. By moving thoracic chamber only we breathe in and breathe out. Okay. So it is necessary to a change occurring in our thoracic chamber to increase and decrease our volume of lungs. Okay. Or volume of lungs. So here, what are the steps of respiration we are going to see. Okay. So there are totally 5 steps of respiration. Generally we are going to see what are the steps. So first step is breathing or pulmonary ventilation. Okay. It is by which atmospheric air is drawn in and release of CO2 to air, carbon dioxide. Okay. So breathing is nothing but intake of oxygen and release of carbon dioxide. So that is the first step. And the second step is diffusion of gases, O2 and oxygen and carbon dioxide across alveolar membrane. So now the gases which pass through the nasal chamber, mainly oxygen, it moves to the bronchi and it reaches the bronchioles and it reaches the alveoli. So in alveolar, diffusion of gases takes place. Diffusion of O2 and CO2 takes place across the alveolar membrane. Okay.
Across the membrane, if this is the alveoli, oxygen will come and pass through that and carbon dioxide will go out. Okay. To purify like that. It's like cloth. Okay.
So now the third point is transport of gases by blood. So after passing out from the alveoli, so these gases okay, these oxygen gases will be will be transported by blood.
Okay.
Okay, so these gases will be transported by blood. So that is why it is diffusing from the alveolar membrane out of the alveoli.
Purifying.
It is not purifying, it is just diffusing.
Yeah, it's just separating carbon dioxide and oxygen. The oxygen comes this side.
Oxygen comes out. Meanwhile, the carbon dioxide goes in.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so diffusion of oxygen and carbon dioxide between blood and transport of gases by blood. So after the outlet of the oxygen from the alveolar membrane, so these gases are transported by blood. Okay. So the fourth one is diffusion of oxygen and carbon dioxide between blood and tissues. So after reaching the blood, so after these gases, oxygen reaching the blood, these blood transport these gases to all the tissues and organs in our body. Okay. So when these gases, for example, if oxygen, it is transported to the organs, other organs. So there the organ need oxygen. So it gets oxygen, and the carbon dioxide which is already present in the organ, it is diffused to blood.
Okay. If the blood again goes cycles and the carbon dioxide will be released.
Carbon dioxide is released to blood, and the blood gives oxygen to the organs or parts. Okay. So now the carbon dioxide is carried by the blood
Again to the lungs and released.
Okay. So you again to the lungs and release. So that is the mechanism. So now whatever the oxygen where oxygen traveled, or the organs which obtain oxygen, so those cells make use this oxygen for their catabolic reactions, for their breakdown reactions, and after breaking down reactions they release CO2, energy and CO2. Okay. So that CO2 is carried by the blood and it is again released in the alveolar membrane. Okay. So this is the steps of respiration. We will be seeing in detail about each step. Okay. So next we discuss about the mechanism of breathing.
Mechanism of breathing.
We are going to see about the mechanism of breathing.
Okay.
So here there are generally two processes in breathing: inspiration and expiration. So inspiration is nothing but atmospheric air which is drawn in through our nasal chamber is known as inspiration, and expiration is nothing but the alveolar air which is released out through our nasal chamber is known as expiration. Okay. So here movement of air depends upon pressure gradient between the lungs and air. Okay. So we know very well that pressure travels from the movement travels from low pressure area to high pressure area to low pressure area. Okay. So here also air movement is like that only. Okay. For example, in inspiration, when the air enters into our when the air is inhaled, the atmospheric air, is less than or the pressure in the atmospheric air is higher than our atmospheric pressure inside the lungs. So therefore from higher to lower region the air goes. So while inspiration it moves from the higher pressure region to the lower pressure region, whereas in expiration the higher pressure is in our thoracic chamber and lower pressure in the atmosphere. So in expiration from higher pressure region, that is the thoracic chamber, to the air, to the environment. Okay. So here it depends on pressure gradient between lungs and air. Okay. So in inspiration, contraction of diaphragm and contraction of external intercostal muscles. In inspiration, contraction of diaphragm is nothing but the diaphragm, it contracts downwards.
Of course.
In inspiration. Okay. So the contraction of diaphragm and contraction of external intercostal muscles. So they also contract. It lifts up the ribs. So by this contraction, the ribs are lifted up. Okay, in inspiration, it lifts up the ribs and sternum. Okay, so therefore it increases the volume and it decreases the pressure because of high volume is present inside the thoracic chamber. It decreases the pressure. So therefore inspiration occurs due to the pressure gradient, where here it is less pressure and in atmosphere it has more pressure. From that the air goes in.
The same goes for expiration, but the same opposite.
Yes, okay. So after it fills up, after the air which comes in and fills up at the thoracic chamber, the air which is present in the inside the thoracic chamber will contain more pressure. Okay, it has more pressure, and therefore the atmosphere will be having less pressure with respect to our lungs. So the air moves out from our lungs, from our thoracic chamber, and there the diaphragms they relax and external intercostal muscles relax and the ribs and sternum come to their normal position. Okay, in expiration. Okay, so this is what is inspiration and expiration. So here the contraction of these muscles plays a great role. That is contraction of diaphragm, contraction of external intercostal muscles, and the ribs and sternum, those bones. So these help very well in the contraction and relaxation of lungs in the inspiration and expiration. So our pulmonary chamber, that is our lungs, cannot by itself change the volume. So with the help of these muscles and bones only, it can change its volume. Okay. So we have the ability to increase the strength of inspiration and expiration than our normal volume. Okay. With the help of additional muscles in the abdomen. Okay. So in an average, a human can inspire and expire 12 to 16 times per minute. Okay, he can breathe 12 to 16 times per minute. Okay, and so the breathing movements can be measured by spirometer. Okay. So this is about mechanism of breathing. So we'll discuss the subtopic under this, which is respiratory volumes and capacities. Okay. So you can, by this diagram, you can see that in inspiration the diaphragm contracts and in expiration the diaphragm goes like this. It becomes now shaped structure. Okay. So next we'll go to the next subtopic under this one.